Hi guys, welcome to the Data Couple, your go-to channel for all things data. Now tell me, all you data enthusiasts, you might be already knowing that SQL is your bread and butter. But ask yourself this, after hovering over all the possible material available over the internet, you're still facing some issues while solving some challenging problems, or taking longer than expected, or fumbling a little bit when an interviewer is asking you to solve a question within limited time. If that is the case, don't worry. We have got you covered. We have created a curated list of easy, intermediate, and advanced level of SQL problems in this series to help you learn together and to be more confident before your next interview. So without any further ado, let us jump into the very first video of the series.
So today I have picked the platform datalemur.com from where we will be solving our first SQL question. The name of the question is histogram of tweets. And what we want to do here is that assume you're given a table of Twitter tweet data. Now we have to write a query to obtain a histogram of tweets posted per user in 2022. But before all this, let us figure out what is histogram. This particular screen that we are looking at, this bar chart is known as histogram. So what does histogram do? Histogram divides your data into different small buckets or similar range of buckets known as bins, which will help you understand the frequency distribution of your data that you have right now. So let's suppose this is the class of students that you have, and you are trying to understand how they have scored in the subject mathematics, right? So starting from 0 to 80, 80 is the highest number that they can get. We have divided the scores into a bucket of 10. Let's say 0 to 10, 11 to 20, 20 to 1 to 30, etc., etc. And we are seeing that how the students have fallen into each of the bucket. We are clearly able to see 41 to 50 has the highest number of students in it. So this is essentially the job of an histogram. It helps us identify how does the frequency distribution of a continuous data set looks like. Hope you understood. So let us move back into the problem. So typically a bar chart deals with discrete data, whereas histogram specifically deals with continuous data. I think in this question, it was supposed to be a bar chart since we are dealing with discrete data, but since it's written as histogram, so I have tried to avoid the confusion. Typically, we make histogram chart in case of continuous data in our day-to-day jobs as a data analyst or a data scientist. But here, the question that you have given here, we have to build a tabular format. Now, what does it mean? And what would be the output? Now, rather than going into the output first, let us look at the table firstly. So the column name and the columns that are presented here is tweet ID, user ID, message, and tweet date. So we have the tweet ID that will be unique, pretty much intuitive from the name itself. You have user ID of which particular user have posted that, the whole content of the message as a third column, and the tweet date. Okay, now what is the example input? Again, it's pretty intuitive. I'm not going into the details. You can pause the video here and look for it yourself, or you can directly go to the website and check out the question. Before that, the example output that we need is the tweet bucket 1 and 2, as in how many people tweeted one tweet and how many people actually tweeted one tweet. That's 2. And how many people tweeted 2 tweets. That's 1. So that's what we want to gain. So as it is, jump into the solution quickly. Now, just looking at the input table, what do you think we have to create first? We have tweet ID, we have user ID, and message and tweet date might not be as important, but I think again, look through the questions very carefully. Is that write a query to obtain a histogram of tweets posted per user in 2022. Okay, so here the first thing that comes here is whenever you write the data, I will go into the select statement later. First, let me write the table name, which is essential. There's only one table, so we have to get the data from there. Now from tweets, what we would do is that where my year would be tweet date. Now you have to keep in mind that this is PostgreSQL, so any function like date part or date or year, those won't run here. Rather, we have to use the function called extract. The extract is a function similar to date part, how we would use in MySQL server or SQL server, right? So the same way extract would extract the year from the tweet date. And what the year would be 2022. It's specifically mentioned there. Now what do I need? I need a tweet bucket first, right? I will get to the users later. Now I need a tweet bucket first. How do I create that? Now I would create that as in how many people created how many times. That's my tweet bucket. So if I'm not able to get how many people actually, you're not able to get how many people actually created uh, the number of tweets. Okay, so let me restart. So if we are not able to get what is the bucket of tweets, as in every person tweeted how many times at max, for that we need to group by the overall tweet IDs by user ID, and that's what we are doing here. So what will this subquery essentially give us? Let me run the code and show you. So see, this has given me that count 2 user ID 111 has 2 tweets, whereas user ID 148 and 254 has 1 tweets each. So that's my count essentially. Now what I would have to do from here is that I can give this a alias name, and then from there let me take this select count tweet. Now count tweet would be my grouping variable, and I would be grouping the user ID right now. Makes sense? Because I have to group the user frequency by the bucket. The bucket is already created, it's 2 and 1. Now I have to group the user ID by the buckets, and that's what I'll be doing here. It's pretty easy. As you can see, as users, I can again give any alias as I would feel the need be. And yep, that's it. I think that's what we need. And you understood, right, why we had to create a subquery here? We had to create a subquery here because otherwise we won't be able to take the count tweet at one go. First, we have to create the bucket of tweets created by each user, and then we can use the same bucket to group the users. We cannot do both the steps in one step. Essentially, that's why we can either use a CTE, which gets used as a something similar to subquery only, I should say. CT is a more optimized function, but CT is more useful, I believe, when you need to call the function over and over again. Right now, I do not need that. It's a very simple function. So subquery should work. And also subquery is something whenever you have very heavy data, subquery might take a lot of time. It's not a very optimized way, but right now, again, as the table is very simple and we do not necessarily need a very optimized solution here because the data is very less, so this should perfectly work. And yes, as I'm right, my query got accepted. And yeah, that was it for today. Let me know in the comments if you found out any other ways to solve this, and again, let me know any other kinds of questions or websites that you want me to look into. Thank you.